Chances are, my fellow minor league nerds, that you have at least heard of Randy Macho Man Savage. If you were or are a wrestling fan, you undoubtedly know his exploits in the squared circle. He's a two-time champion in the World Wrestling Federation, as well as a one-time WWF Intercontinental Champion. He also held the World Championship Wrestling World title on 4 different occasions, as well as many regional championships during his long and illustrious career. But did you know that his first true love was baseball, and that he played minor league baseball in the hopes of becoming a big leaguer? On this Minor League Nerd special episode, we are going to tell you the story of Randy Savage's minor league baseball career. He was born Randy Mario Poffo to Angelo and Judith Poffo on November 15, 1952, in Columbus, Ohio. His father was a professional wrestler and promoter. Randy's younger brother, Lanny, also became a professional wrestler. Angelo was the type of father who would do anything to support his sons and their interests. Wanting to see them develop into the best ball players they could possibly be, he built a winterized batting cage with a pitching machine in the yard of their Chicago suburban home of Downers Grove, the same town in which he had grown up. He also frequently took them to both Comiskey Park and Wrigley Field to see the White Sox and the Cubs. Athletics were prominent in the Poffo home. As mentioned earlier, Angelo was a professional wrestler having a 42-year career. He also earned a degree in physical education at DePaul University. On July 4, 1945, while in the Navy, he set a naval and a world record by doing 6,033 consecutive sit-ups. This feat was recognized by Ripley's Believe It or Not. With athletics in their DNA, both Lanny and Randy played sports throughout their childhoods. Basketball, football, and wrestling, but it was baseball that Randy truly loved, seeing him carry his mitt everywhere he went. The two brothers would often play ball at home and at local ball fields. As a kid, Randy's favorite players were Pete Rose and Johnny Bench. When he was 10 years old, his mother Judith signed him up to play Little League Baseball, where he became a catcher, just like his father had been when he played for the DePaul Blue Demons. Angelo also had professional baseball dreams when he was younger, but after getting hit in the head by a pitch that knocked him out, he was never able to overcome being plate shy. After college, he did receive some pro offers to play in the minors, but he decided to go into professional wrestling instead. Randy learned a lot about being a catcher from his father and would emulate Johnny Bench as well as Randy Hundley. He quickly developed into the best player in Downers Grove in his age group. His childhood friend, John Guarnaccia, told Sports Illustrated in 2011 that Randy threw the ball back to the pitcher with more velocity than the pitcher pitched the ball to Randy. In 1968, after Randy finished his sophomore year in high school, Angelo moved the family to Hawaii for 11 months, where he was offered a lucrative opportunity to wrestle both there and in Japan. He saw it as a chance for his boys to focus solely on baseball while being homeschooled by their not-too-strict mother, believing it would give Randy a competitive advantage once he resumed his high school baseball career. Angelo also saw it as a way to lessen his son's chances of being drafted to fight in Vietnam. During their time in Hawaii, Randy and Lanny played baseball nonstop, seeing Randy's level of play vastly improve. He even ended up playing catcher for a semi-pro team called Gouvea's Sausage Phillies. The team no longer exists, but the name sponsors Portuguese sausages still do. When he returned to Downers Grove North High School for his junior season, he was much more of a polished player than he was when he left. In that junior season, he was named the team's MVP after posting a .500 batting average, the best among all Chicago area high schoolers. He hit 3 home runs, 4 triples, and 8 doubles as a switch-hitting catcher and was named to the All-State team while helping the Downers Grove North High School Trojans win the Western Suburban Conference title. In his senior season, he eclipsed his average when he hit .525, a then state record. He led the team to another conference championship and was again named the team MVP while also being selected to the All-State team for a second year in a row. All of this success made his dream of becoming a Major League ballplayer seem possible. His athleticism was never in doubt as he also played football and basketball. While in junior high, he astounded his phys ed teacher by doing over 1,000 sit-ups when his teacher had questioned whether any of his students could actually do 100. Considering the record his father hit while in the Navy, this shouldn't be a surprise. Besides being an athlete, Randy was also a National Honor Society member. During his senior year, it wasn't uncommon to see Major League scouts in the stands during games gauging his value for the upcoming 1971 MLB draft. After struggling one game, though, in which he had a 102-degree fever, the scouts began coming around less often. He wasn't drafted by any team and had turned down a scholarship from Arizona State. It was not a good time for Randy Poffo or his family. In the summer before his senior year, he had played for the Chicago Orioles, a top amateur team made up of local high school and college all-stars. He had planned on playing for them again after graduation, but something happened that changed his plans. The day after the draft ended, the St. Louis Cardinals hosted a free agent tryout at Busch Stadium. Angelo saw this as a second chance for his son. He drove Randy the nearly 300 miles to St. Louis. Of the 200 players who attended, Randy was the only one offered a contract, seeing him hit a ground rule double in his first at-bat. He signed with the Cards the same day as Keith Hernandez. Randy began his professional career with the Sarasota Cardinals of the Gulf Coast League, making $500 a month, just a little under $3,900 today. On that team, he played with future major leaguers Jerry Mumphrey, Mike Vail, and Larry Herndon. He was well liked by his teammates, keeping everyone loose and always having fun. He was motivated by going undrafted. This helped him develop a reputation for his incredible work ethic, seeing him staying late after workouts and games, running and practicing throwing from home to second base. Teammate Larry Herndon said Randy used to swing a bat into a car tire fixed to a tree as a regular training exercise to strengthen his hands and make sure he utilized his legs during swings. This technique was so effective that Herndon adopted it when he became a hitting instructor with the Detroit Tigers. All his hard work paid off as Randy was named an all-star catcher, hitting .286, the highest amongst team regulars. He had a .492 slugging percentage, a .912 OPS, while hitting 3 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, knocking in 13 RBIs, and stealing 2 bases in 35 of the team's 60 games. As a catcher, he committed no errors. 1972 saw him return to the Gulf Coast League, improving his average to .274, again hitting 3 doubles, 4 triples, and 3 homers, the most on the team, while knocking in 26. He was 4 for 7 in stolen bases and scored 23 runs in 52 games played. He was again selected to the All-Star team. He spent most of the season as a switch-hitting outfielder, moving from catcher, where he only played 4 games because his throwing from behind the plate was too erratic. Randy began his 3rd season of pro ball in 1973, once again with Sarasota. He struggled when the season began, and it looked like he might lose his roster spot. But he managed to break out of his slump, hitting .344 with 11 RBIs, 6 doubles, and 2 triples through 25 games. Instead of being released like he feared, the Cardinals actually promoted him to the Class A Orangeburg Cardinals of the Western Carolinas League, now the South Atlantic League. They were managed by the eccentric Jimmy Pearsall, who had a 17-year major league career. It was a co-op club, seeing players being contributed from multiple MLB teams. Randy's roommate was future major leaguer Tito Landrum. During an interview with the Baltimore Sun, Landrum said of Randy, "He was a very aggressive player and was well liked on the team because of that aggressiveness. Unfortunately, much like the rest of us, he had a problem hitting the curve." The intensity Randy was known for in the ring showed itself during his days in Orangeburg. He told his teammates that he was going to be a professional wrestler someday. Being promoted is a dream for all major league players, but Randy's promotion turned into a nightmare. He only hit .250 in 46 games while in Orangeburg, where he spent most of his time on the bench or filling in for others at catcher or first. A highlight that season came when he found himself playing against his childhood friend John Guarnaccia, who was drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies, with Randy informing his old friend what pitches were coming. Randy's season ended early due to a separated shoulder he suffered during a collision with a catcher on a play at the plate. 2 weeks before Christmas, he was released by the Cardinals. Randy later moved to Sarasota from Illinois, hoping to get another shot with the team. He pestered scouts for a chance, but no one was interested in giving him one. He attended a tryout camp the Cincinnati Reds held and was able to get an invite to spring training. He hit 6 homers, 4 from the left side of the plate and 2 from the right side, including 2 in one game against the Mets. During spring training, he was able to play with his boyhood heroes Pete Rose and Johnny Bench, whose brain he picked for more pointers on being a catcher. Once again, his determination paid off as the Reds signed him and he was assigned to the Tampa Tarpons of the Florida State League. The league had recently adopted the designated hitter rule, and manager Russ Nixon said he could use Randy's bat. He had a great start to the season, hitting near .300 with 9 homers. Unfortunately, though, he broke the forefinger on his left hand diving for a ball. He ended up coming back too soon from the injury, being used as a DH. His finger bothered him, but he never complained for fear of losing his spot on the team. He only hit .232 in 131 games that season, with 19 doubles, 6 triples, and went 3 for 8 in stolen bases. Once again, just before Christmas, he was released by the Reds. He led the Tarpons with 66 RBIs and tied for 4th in the league with 9 home runs. Hall of Famer Eddie Murray and future Major Leaguer Gary Renicky both finished in front of him. While rehabbing from his second injury, Randy, who was a natural righty, tried teaching himself to throw left-handed in order to increase his value. He would throw 1,500 balls left-handed against a wall every day. He first started doing the practice in high school. During a game on April 29, 1974, he earned the nickname that stuck with him for the rest of his life. In the second inning during a game against the West Palm Beach Expos, Randy was preparing to bat when the Expos manager called for a pitching change. While kneeling in the on-deck circle waiting for the inning to start back up, he was beamed in the head by Expos pitcher Joe Keener. Keener had apparently thought Randy was looking at his pitches and took exception, thinking he'd teach him a lesson. Instinct kicked in and Randy charged out to the mound and, quoting him, worked him over real good. In the paper the next day, a sports writer said that Randy acted like some sort of Macho Man, a name that he liked and would use later when he became a professional wrestler. Fans even went so far as to put up a banner in the outfield that said, "Hit it here, Macho Man." According to an article in the Tampa Tribune the day after the incident, Randy never made it to the mound. There's no dispute that he was intentionally thrown at while waiting on deck, but according to the article, he was restrained by home plate umpire Parker LaRue until Russ Nixon and trainer Jack Munchin came over to calm him down, with the benches emptying, but no punches were thrown. He sustained a lump on the back of his head, but continued to play in the game, which the Tarpons lost 10-1, ending their 4-game winning streak. While living in Florida, the desire to become a professional wrestler started pulling Randy even more. Tampa was home of Championship Wrestling from Florida and held cards in the city every Friday night. He and his teammates would regularly attend whenever they could. Even though his father encouraged both Randy and Lanny to not become wrestlers, Randy wanted to do both at the same time, but wrestling was a violation of his baseball contract. So in order to keep his identity secret, he wrestled under a mask as the Spider at spot shows around Florida during the off-season. After being released by the Reds, Randy was not ready to give up on his dream of becoming a professional baseball player. He wrote letters to numerous clubs looking for a chance. He didn't mention that he was a righty turned lefty because he didn't want to come off as some sort of gimmick, something that ironically would probably help him today. He was invited by the San Francisco Giants to attend their spring training camp in Casa Grande, Arizona. The only issue was that he would have had to pay for his own travel to get out there. Before moving on trying to get to Arizona, he was signed by his hometown White Sox in an attempt to earn a roster spot on one of their minor league teams. The White Sox were impressed by his ambition and determination and looked to use him as a left-handed first baseman. They were going to give him a shot, but they didn't guarantee him anything. Sox manager Chuck Tanner was impressed by him, but Randy hadn't mastered the vital sidearm throw from first to second on double plays and failed to make any of the Sox affiliates. When he saw his uniform being taken from his locker after being cut, it worked him up to the point that he threatened to burn down the clubhouse and the grandstand, which thankfully he didn't do. But after walking out of the clubhouse with his equipment, he proceeded to break all his bats against a nearby tree while his now former teammates watched on. At 24 years of age, his baseball dream was over, and Randy Poffo decided to follow his father and younger brother into the family business and become a professional wrestler, the first pro baseball player to ever do so. During his wrestling career, baseball stayed in Randy's heart. He attended games whenever possible, always making sure to talk to the players. Before a Tigers game in 1993, he threw out the first pitch. He also appeared on game broadcasts for interviews multiple times, with the most memorable taking place in Cincinnati on September 21st, 1989. He was in town to promote a TV taping of Saturday night's main event later that night at the Riverfront Coliseum. Reds players, fans, and even the umpires were enamored with his presence, looking to get a glimpse of him in the broadcast booth. Reds owner Marge Schott was not pleased by the distraction from her team and the game and ended up sending a message to radio producer Doug Kidd through her nephew, Executive Vice President Steve Schott, saying, "If you ever want to go on the air for the Reds again, get him off the air." The Reds ended up losing the game, their 10th in a row. In Downers Grove North High School, a plaque still hangs in a hallway with 60 others honoring Randy Poffo's career on the field for the school. Randy Poffo passed away from a heart attack at the age of 58 on the morning of May 20th, 2011, while driving his Jeep Wrangler with his wife in the passenger seat. She only sustained minor injuries. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, that'll do it for this special episode. We do hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast platform of your choice to be notified whenever a new episode is released. And until next time, stay safe and remember to never stop supporting minor league baseball and never stop learning about minor league baseball history. Randy's roommate was future Major Lego. Future Major Lego.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTommaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average Podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebrimmedia.com.